G'day everyone, Daniel Anderson here. Welcome to Module 4, where we're just going to take a quick look at a few little tips and tricks and how-tos just to make your file management a lot easier inside of Microsoft Teams. Okay, so in the previous modules, we had a look at where all our files are stored, how we can use and sync our Microsoft Teams files to our Windows Explorer so that we can access them from there. We also took a look at the decisions around how to upload and add files to our Microsoft Teams. So if we've got a structured environment, do we add it? Do we upload files or attach files to conversations before we add them to the Files tab? So if you haven't already, go and check out the first 3 modules of the course. And in this one, we're just going to wrap things up and just take a look at a few little options that you've got inside of Teams for your file management. So as you can see, we're in the Files tab of this monthly reports channel, and there's a few files in here. Now, this month, we're focusing on the USA and the UK sales, right? So rather than having to find those documents in a big document library or in a folder structure, what we can do is we can make turn these files into tabs, right? So you can see across the top here, we've got posts, files, wiki, and sales report already there. But what we can do is we can now select a file and we can make this a tab. That's automatically going to add this Excel spreadsheet as a tab, all right? It's going to embed that there for us. All right, so if I now jump back into files, I might want to put the UK one there as well. So me as a sales manager, I want my sales team to have quick, easy access to those spreadsheets without having to think about where they're located. So what we can do now is they can just now click on these tabs and they've got access to those spreadsheets. If we need to take them down, then all we do is we select the drop arrow down and we click remove, and that's going to just permanently remove that tab, not the file, just the tab. So if we jump back into files, that UK file is still there for us. Okay, so that's how we can make things, convert a file into a tab for easier access. Now, the other things that we can do, we might want to move things around or copy things around, right? So we might have a folder for UK. We might decide that we want to store all our UK files in this folder. Now, we can select this file now, and using the ribbon across the top, we can move this file, and we can do it directly from within inside Teams here. So we can select the UK folder and we can go move. Now, automatically, that's going to now move that file inside this folder. So we've now got, there it is. Okay, so that's how we can move our files. We can add our files as tabs. Okay, now the other thing that I wanted to point out to you is around the notion and the capability of checking files in and out. So SharePoint has always had the option and the ability for a user to be able to check a file out, which means it locks it for that user to be able to make their edits. Nobody else can edit that file while a document is checked out. Now we can do that from within inside Teams, all right? So we can select a file. If I want to work on this document exclusively, all right, so I don't want anybody else to be editing this document while I'm editing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to check this document out. So under the More menu option here, we can go check out. And that document now has been checked out to me. You'll notice that there's a little icon to the right of this where it's a red icon here. And I can now open that document up, only me, exclusively, edit that document, make my changes. Nobody sees the changes that you're making while the document's checked out until you check that document back in. So let's say I've made my changes. I can now come in here. I want to publish that now. I want to make that available to everybody. I can now go more. I can go check in, change. I can provide a comment, cell B4, and we can check that document back in. You'll now notice that that icon's gone away and we've now updated that document. Okay. Check in and check out, good functionality, especially around Excel spreadsheets. The next thing we're going to take a look at is our views. So Because we've got the SharePoint library experience inside of Teams, we can make use of SharePoint views. So you'll notice in the top right-hand corner here, now I'm just going to use this expand window as well. So we're going to expand this tab to make it a bit wider for us. So we've got this option here where it's got all documents, and we've got access to all these different views. Now at the moment, there's only a couple, but by default, we get list, compact list, and tile. So let's take a look at each. This is list, the default. We can go back to compact list, which makes it a little bit smaller, compresses it. Then we can also go to tiles, which gives us a nice thumbnail and tile view of our document library. Same documents, just a different view. Now, what you might already have seen is that we've got this added column here called salesperson. Now, every single document has been associated to a particular salesperson, all right? Now, we've done that from within SharePoint. So remember, our documents in our team are stored in SharePoint. I can open this library up inside of Teams, and what I've done here is that I've added a column called salesperson, and I've associated these files with a particular salesperson. Now, a good thing that allows us to do now is we can now filter and sort this list or this library of documents based on salesperson. So we might want to say, right, show me all the documents who the salesperson is Megan. All right, so we're just going to do that, and now all we've got are Megan's documents, or Megan's documents that she's a salesperson for and she's looking after. We might want to say, right, show me all Alex and Megan's, and we can now filter by both. All right, so the addition of that metadata on that SharePoint library flows through to Microsoft Teams, and we can make use of that. What I've already done as well is that I've gone through and I've made a view that's called grouped by salesperson. And if I select that view, you'll notice here that we've got all our documents now, but you'll see that they're grouped by the salesperson. Okay, so again, another way of slicing and dicing your document library inside of Teams. Now let's take a look at how we set that up. Now I'm just going to flick back to all documents view where it's just a flat view of the library, and I'm just going to go group by salesperson. And when I do that, it's automatically going to do that for me. Now, one thing that you need to do and is important to understand is that that's not automatically saved. So you'll notice in the top right hand corner here, we've got a little asterisk next to all documents. That means we need to save it. Now, if we want this saved as the default view, then we will just select this and we can go File, Save View As, and we can just save it as all documents. But in this case, I want to create a new view. I'm going to go Save View As, grouped by sales. I'll call this one Executive. And we're going to make it a public view, and we're going to save that. So now what we've got, if we click on this drop down arrow, then we've now got three views. We've got all documents, grouped by salesperson, which is what I did before, and the one that I've just created, which is grouped by sales executive. So if I flick back to all documents, that's just a flat list. I've now got grouped by sales executive, where it's now grouped by the people in this column. Okay, so we can make use of those SharePoint views directly from within Microsoft Teams as well. And it's a great way if you've got lots of big libraries with lots of documents in it, then I would highly recommend that you make use of those views, those SharePoint views, and create some custom views for yourself and for your team. Okay, that's all we've got for Module 4. I hope that brings you some value. That brings us to the end of the Microsoft Teams file management course. So I really do hope that brings you some value, and I will see you in the next course. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.